Good evening, handicappers. I'm Jack Remington of the Jack Remington NFL channel. Got to make it quick and clean. I got called into work today. Nice problem to have. Last week, showed some signs of life. Went 4 wins and 1 loss. And the 1 loss, we lost by 1 point. Cleveland missed a field goal that would have put us over the top. That's okay. We went 4-1. Only one of 3 people in the Fish Hang Soup Simulator on pregame.com. Only one of 3 people got 4 wins right. No one got them all right. It was no sweeper, no 5-0. So I feel pretty good about being the 4-1. We got one guy that got 0 right 2 weeks in a row. The guy's a good handicapper. We're just having some bad streaks right now. You got to remember, at the beginning of the season, we had the gigantic upset of New England beating Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Remember that? Knocked off everybody on the survivor pools. And the next week, it was Raiders down by 10 points with 4 minutes to go, and they tied the game and beat the Ravens in overtime at Baltimore. That knocked almost everybody else out. In the third week, there was another huge upset, and that got rid of, there were several survivor pools that were over by week 3. It's incredible. A couple people settled. They said to split the money. I've never seen it in my life. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for like 50 years or more, longer than 50 years, since I was a boy. And I can never remember a season like this one. So people say it's a crazy season. Every season's crazy. Every season is great. You got to pick your spots. And that's what we'll talk a little bit about that today. So let's go over this week's games. And we're going to take the Cleveland Browns plus a 9 points. As of right now, film time, it's got down to 8.5. I'll see some 8s out there. So we're getting some line value. I always try to look for that when I can. Cleveland's a dumpster fire. They're 1 win and 6 losses. They haven't won anything at home. They're 0-3 at home. So that's in their favor, and they're playing Baltimore. Baltimore's offense is just that Lamar Jackson is on a roll. And you know how much I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a great player. He was 14-2 his first full year. They were top-ranked team in the NFL, and they got stonkered by the Bills in the playoffs, and an experienced team. It's been a mixed bag ever since. They just can't quite get over the hump with the Ravens. So their offense is clicking, but their defense is so-so. But Cleveland's got a defense, and every now and then they show up. And if their defense can show up and just slow Baltimore down, they have an excellent chance to outright win this game. In fact, if I was in Vegas, I'd put a sprinkle on the money line on this game here. This is a good spot for Cleveland to sneak up and get a win. And they've made a change of quarterback. Deshaun Watson got hurt, and he's out. And the crowd was booing him. They were acting like they were glad that he got hurt. I'm not for that. And that reminds me when Indianapolis, when at halftime they announced that great quarterback they had, Andrew Luck, when he was going to retire, the fans started booing him and started throwing stuff. Come on, man. Anyway, I'm not here. I got a whole nother channel if you want to hear philosophy and politics, but I got enough to choke the universe. This is the NFL channel, and I think that Cleveland has a good chance to win this game. Baltimore's won. They've won and covered 5 in a row, and they're feeling good about themselves. All they're a dumpster fire. If they have a letdown of any kind, Cleveland's going to sneak up on them. And Jameis Winston, he's a gunslinger. I know he throws a lot of interceptions, but he throws touchdowns too. And he only needs a few touchdowns. They could win this game. We'll take a shot with Cleveland plus 9 and see what happens. So I think Cleveland's going to be a little more focused. I know Myles Garrett's on the injury report list. He's been on the report list for a long time. I keep looking. And he blocked that field goal against Philadelphia. You got to read between the lines with injury report too. So let's get to the next game here. And this is a good game. The next one is a barn burner. And I'm catching some flack with this. It's the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. As of right now, it's Washington plus 3, so the Bears are favored by 3. On the Fish Hang's contest, however, it's the Bears minus 2.5, so we can pick up a point line value. If it's a field goal game in overtime, we got an edge. We're laying a 2.5. The most common point spread in the NFL is 3. A lot of games end on 3. They just do. The key number 3, 7, 6. Now it's 8 because we get the 2-point conversion. So, but there's not too many 8s, are there? You still see the 3, 7, 6, and some 4s. 21-17 is 4 points. 24-20 is 4 points. Very common numbers. We're looking at the Chicago Bears and Washington Commanders team. Has had a 5-point swing from the look-ahead line from last week. The Bears were the underdog. They were 2.5-point underdogs versus Commanders. Now they're the favorite by 2.5. So there's at least a 5-point full swing. And now it's 5.5 points if Washington's a dog by 3. Because Jaden Daniels got hurt. And he's got an oblique or something on his ribs, something in his midsection. And you can't throw the ball. You can't throw the ball. Come on. He's hurt. Now, one of two things is going to happen in this game. Either Jaden Daniels is the real deal, Marcus Mariota, who was a top draft pick, he beat out Jameis Winston, by the way, who's going to be playing for Cleveland. They were both the top 2 picks in the draft that year. Tennessee Titans had the top pick, and I remember I thought they were going to take Jameis Winston, but Mike Munchak was still the big helpers for the Titans. He devoted his life to that franchise. He got spit on in the end, in my opinion, by Bud Adams, a couple of the other people that were involved with the ownership of the Titans. But he said, no, this Jameis Winston guy's got some behavioral problems. I mean, he was dancing on the table with the cafeteria, and he had to call the campus cops to get him off, and he stuck his hands down some girl's pants or something. I'm Jameis Winston. I'm going to be an NFL star or something. The girl's parents sued him, and they settled out of court. And the guys, he got in a fight, and the guy's a chowderhead. It's their culture. But I'm not here to talk about any of that. You go see my political channel. You want to hear a lot about that. So they picked Marcus Mariota. I thought he was a pretty good quarterback. But later in his career, he got hurt. I mean, he's got some wheels. He reminds me of Matt Castle, if you remember him. He was the backup for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady said he should have been the starter. He said that's how good Matt Castle was. He said he would start on any other team. But by the time he got around to Minnesota Vikings and things of that nature, he'd already been hurt, and his skills were diminished. But this Marcus Mariota was a good quarterback, and he came in relief last week, and they did okay. He came in relief when the Washington Commander was beating the snot out of Carolina Panthers. But that's against the Carolina Panthers. He's playing against a Chicago Bears defense this week, and I think it's a different breed of cat, if you want. A bear's not a cat, but a bear's still a 4-legged animal, and a bear's a pretty dangerous animal, if you want to look at it that way. From a lady on Cheers, she would pick the teams based on the animal. That blonde they had on there, Shelley Long. I remember that episode. It's not I don't have a script today. I have to go to work. I don't have time to make the script, so I got to get the picks out, and I got to cut the video, and I got to get moving. I just think the Chicago Bears, their defense is the real deal. Their offense kind of shaky with that first-round draft pick, but you know what? He doesn't have to do much. I'm thinking that the Chicago Bears defense is going to slow down this Washington offense. And now the question is that Cliff Kingsbury's system, or is Marcus Mariota good? And can they keep repeating the offensive performances that Washington has surprised the NFL with? I say differently. I say that Chicago's defense has got something to prove. And they have not won a road game yet. They're 0-2 on the road. This is going to be their first road win. I think Chicago's going to win the game outright. And I just think Washington, they're 3-0 at home. They haven't lost a home game yet. I think they're going to lose a game here. The Bears, are they looking ahead? Looking at the Cardinals, they're not looking ahead, so they're going to focus on this game here. But the Commanders have the Giants at New York next week. I know the Giants are not having a good season, and they're a dumpster fire too, but that's still a division rival. It's possible they could be, looking ahead a little bit to the Giants game, and if the Giants going to rebound, that's the worry. So the focus, I think Chicago's going to be a little more focused. Commanders got to work, get their offense going with Marcus Mariota, and they will. I mean, they'll be okay, but not okay enough to pull off this win here. I'm going with Chicago Bears. I think Bears are going to win the game outright. I don't think it's going to be close. So now let's get to the next game. The New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Patriots are home now. It's a rematch with New York. The Jets smoked them at New York 24-3. They just totally destroyed the Patriots. Patriots had nothing going for them. And you would think this is New England's chance to maybe get some revenge. But the Patriots they're a dumpster fire. They got to be the worst team in football. I mean, them and the Titans and a couple other. I mean, I think New England is the worst team in football. And they're having some problems with the staff now. Just like I said they would. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I told you I didn't like that mayor. It was a bad hire. The whole team was going downhill. And I also put a lot of this blame on Robert Kraft. That's a team I followed very, very closely. And I've made a ton of money with New England Patriots over the last 25 years. I've made more money off New England than I did with the 49ers in the 80s with Joe Montana and Steve Young. But maybe Robert Kraft's got stage 3 syphilis from going to this massage parlors in Miami or something. Who knows what's happened to this guy. But he let the team go to shit. And he can't sell the team. Who wants to buy their franchise now? The Jets, I know I'm up and down on the Jets. The just end the season Jets. But I liked Robert Saleh as a coach, and they fired him. They lost 2 in a row, so he must not be the problem. The defense has taken a step back, especially the back 4. The front 7 or the front 4, mixed bag. They're not what they were a couple years ago when Robert Saleh really had that defense clicking. Ultimately, Woody Johnson, the owner's fault. I blame him. They need a scapegoat. So I guess Robert Saleh is a perfect scapegoat. But when are they going to admit, like Green Bay finally woke up to the fact that Aaron Rodgers, he wants to be the general manager, he wants to be the owner, he wants to be the play caller, he wants to be offense and defensive coordinator now. When are they going to wake up to the fact that this guy is just a prima donna, just tell him to shut up, throw the ball, and do what you did before when you were great? And so the Jets got to wake up to that fact, and they haven't woken up to that fact, but New England can't stop them. So I'm going to take the Jets minus a 7. Supposedly this Devontae Adams guy they traded for is supposed to make this team the Super Bowl winner. He didn't do squat last week. The team stats, he was targeted 9 times. He did catch 3 balls, and his longest one was 11 yards. He got 30 total yards. So he didn't do squat in a losing effort. Thank God we had the Steelers. And the Jets are not that good of a road team anyway. They're 1-3 away. So, but New England, they're 0-3 at home. I mean, they only won one home game last year. I don't think it'll be this week. I think the Jets are going to grind it down. I think the Jets are going to do what they did before, run the ball down their throats. New England can't stop them. This interim coach needs a win. He's 0-2 now, right? So this is a good spot for him to get a win, and he's going to play close to the vest. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do just enough to, 13-3, a low-scoring game like that. They're going to run the ball, control the clock like they did the first time. New England surprises everybody, and they stop this running game, and they force Aaron Rodgers to pass. I think it'll be a higher-scoring game, and I think Aaron Rodgers will destroy them. It'll be more than a 10-point win then. But we're going to take a chance with the chalk here. Take the Jets, because if they lose this game here, their season's over. If they lose to New England, that'll put them at 2 wins and 6 losses at the halfway point of the season. And having lost to New England, I mean, everybody's be licking their chops. This will be a team they can just pad their stats on. So I'm taking the Jets. Let's go to the next game. The Denver Broncos hosting Carolina Panthers. Now, on the Fish Tank Super Contest Simulator, it's Denver minus 10. So right now, as of film time, it's Denver minus 11. And the guy he texted me, it's 11.5. And there's some 12 spot popping up. This line is going up. Carolina's 1 win, 6 losses. And the Broncos are 4 wins to 3 losses. Broncos won the last 3 out of 4. The Broncos are a much improved team. Their only loss, they lost to the Los Angeles Chargers, a division rival. A decent team. They were down 23-0. And they were down 23-0 at the end of the third quarter. They were down 23-0. They came back and made a game out of it. 2 touchdowns and missed a 2-point attempt. And then they kicked a 40-yard field goal with 59 seconds left and missed the onside kick. I mean, but they got back in the game. They did sack the Chargers 3 times versus they only got sacked twice. They did get 110 yards rushing. The Chargers got 128 yards rushing. I understand it, but they ran the ball 38 times. Denver only ran the ball 18 times. They ran the ball 20 times more than the Broncos did and only had 18 more yards. That tells us the story within itself, but it's a turnover battle. They lost turnover battle was a 3-0. So when you lose turnover battle, it's pretty hard to win a game. But they made a game out of it. They didn't give up. And then the next week, they destroyed the Saints at New Orleans. I told the people I was going to take that game and didn't take it. It was an easy win. But what concerns me about this game is that the Broncos, they have to go to Baltimore next game. So they may be they might be caught napping, looking ahead. Because Carolina's so bad, they might think, just start, think about how we're going to get around this Lamar Jackson next week. So that's a big concern. And it almost scratched this game because of that. But the Saints got New Orleans coming into town. They might be looking ahead to that too, so both teams might be looking ahead. Well, I think the Broncos are looking ahead for sure. And Carolina, but they're 1 win. They did beat the Raiders at Las Vegas 36-22. That's their only win of the year. But Vegas is not the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos is a much better team. Sean Payton has done a good job. You look at Denver's got 5 players on their injured list with Patrick Surtain. He's the top 5 NFL cornerback. He's got injured concussion, but now my friend says he wants to play. And that's a big, huge upgrade if they get him back. Carolina's got 24 people on their injury list, and then Dalton. Now I know why I'm making this pick. Dalton was driving home with his family and he got in a car accident, more than the fender bender, and broke his thumb. So now they had to put the other quarterback back in, Bryce Young. So he's the first round all-around pick. I think he's a bust. I think he's horrible. He's got to be their quarterback. And they're putting him back in. I still think he's, he might try, but, I think he knows it's over. I saw him stand on the sidelines and he didn't look with it at all. He didn't have that hungry look that I want to see out of a football player. So give me the Denver Broncos minus 10 at Mile High. I think the Panthers just might be mailing it in. The Broncos might a good game to pad their stats. 72% of the money is on the bets are on Broncos, approximately 7 out of 10. That's not good, but you know what? Carolina's them and the Patriots are the worst teams in football. I just think the Broncos are on a roll, and Sean Payton is a good experience, a good enough coach to tell his team, don't fall asleep. Let's have a convincing win here at the end of the fourth quarter. Then we'll start worrying about the Ravens. Last game, the matchup, and this will be a fun game to watch. And I have my reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. The strange dichotomy, the game is the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers. So let me give you the preface here first. The Dallas Cowboys, they're 3 wins and 3 losses. And the 49ers are 3 wins and 4 losses. Okay, both teams got some horrific injuries. I think for the 49ers are worse with the injury list. I mean, Bosa's got the injured, the 49ers, Bosa, he's still out with the injured elbow. He's not coming in. They lost Deebo Samuel. He's questionable. My friend says he's not going to play. You say what you want about Kittle. He's a fantastic tight end. He's a top 5 NFL tight end. And everybody knows that. And there's no controversy with that statement. He's questionable with a foot injury. And if he does play, he's questionable. But your foot, you start with your feet. You can't play football unless you make that first step. I mean, you can't do anything. I mean, you might be able to throw a ball off your statue, but you got to back up when you can snap the ball. I mean, you got to have your feet. Dallas is getting some people back. I just think that Dallas, and they got smoked the other week. They got destroyed by Detroit 47-9 at home. There's a strange dichotomy with this Dallas Cowboys. Okay, they're 3-0 on the road. They're unbeaten on the road, but they can't win a home game. They're 0-3 at home. So that's a very strange team. The 49ers, they're 1-2 away, and they're 2-2 at home. It's a mixed bag. We're getting to 4 points, and the fish tank simulator is Dallas +4. Yeah, I'm not seeing much movement. You find a 4.5 online, you find 3.5 online. So it's within that narrow range. I haven't heard too much about it. The money coming on the teams, I'm not seeing a big disparity here. It's 53% 49ers. So it's a mixed bag. I don't really look at that too hard until I get over 60% one way or the other. And it's got to be even 60-40. It's not that much of a variance in handicapping. When the team is getting 95% of the tickets, and you start looking the other way, that's what I'm a contrarian. That's what I do here. As of right now, we're losing half a line point value. It's 49ers -4.5 now. So Dallas is getting 4.5, but the contest line is fixed. We'll take the 4. We're taking the Dallas Cowboys. I just think that they're unbeaten on the road. They can't wait to get out of Dallas and listen to this shit. And the people booing and throwing stuff on the field. I mean, but I just think the 49ers are. Brock Purdy, he didn't look the same last week. I'm not picking on the guy. I mean, he was 17 for 31. He did have 212 yards, but it was dink and dunk. But he had 3 interceptions. I mean, they only sacked him 1 time for 3 yards. But he escaped the wrath of these Kansas City beasts on their front 4. He was running for his life. And I thought it was, I got to watch the whole game. I could sit down with no distractions, and the 49ers put up a good fight. This has been a great rivalry. These two teams met twice in Super Bowls now, the last 4 years, and now they're meeting in regular season. Some teams have certain teams' numbers. Now, when you look for this game, Dallas, San Francisco, the 49ers won the last 3 times. They beat them last year 42-10. They beat them in that playoff game 19-12. And the year before that, they beat them 23-17 at Dallas. And I remember that game too. So Dallas has got something to prove. Dallas, they've lost 3 in a row to this team. I think McCarthy's job's on the line, even though it really shouldn't be. He's done the best of what he's got to work with. That's how you evaluate a head coach. You don't say, oh, they lost, fire them. Why are they losing? What happened to them? What are the circumstances behind their loss? Or if they're underachieving. Marty Schottenheimer got fired because he couldn't win the Super Bowl. He had 14-2 teams, a couple from the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers, and he'd be one and done. And he got fired twice. Marty Schottenheimer, look it up. Twice he got fired. He was 13-3 with Kansas City, lost to the Colts 10-7, and the Colts were a wild card. They stuck in the back door with a 500 record or less, then knocked off the top-ranked Chiefs in that Freezer Bowl game, and we had the Colts getting all those points, and they fired him. And then he goes to San Diego, does the same thing, 14-2, and they fired him. And they lost to the Patriots out of New England. They fired him. That was the game. I'm rambling here. That was the game where that linebacker intercepted Tom Brady on 4th and 10. 4th and 10, they intercept Tom Brady. He runs the ball back. Troy Brown punches the wide receiver. He was throwing it, punches the ball out of the guy's hands, and Tom Brady falls on the ball. They got the ball back, and they scored 2 plays later to win that game. And the Chargers were just snake bit. But that happens. And the Eddie Mush game. Mushy's lost 2 in a row. I got him last week when he had the Jets. He had Tampa the other week. I got a second game. And he lost that one. I got to put that on pregame.com. The Mush game this week, he's got the Washington Commanders. It's a 5-point swing, and I know they're the better team. Okay, what do we say, Mush? So the Eddie Mush game this week, he's got the Commanders, and I'm going to jump on the Bears, and I'm going to take some more of his money. So that's it, folks. Always ready to be an American. Always ready to be an NFL fan. Long live the NFL. Take care, players. I know I'm going to do a lot of cutting. I have to go to work. Thank you, players. See you next week.